children. Now we are going to study the information in the 1980s. During this decade, the Indian political system faced many new challenges, and the Sikh in the Punjab demanded an independent state of Khalistan. And a new movement was started which went on to become violent and destructive. Now, children, as 1980s arose, a lot of challenges came in front of India. The Sikh in Punjab, they started demanding for an independent state of Khalistan and started movements which was very violent and destructive. Pakistan also had lent its support to this movement. The Indian army was sent into the Golden Temple at Amritsar, a holy shrine of the Sikh, in 1984 to evict the terrorists who had allegedly taken shelter there. So some terrorists, they were staying in this Golden Temple in 1984. So to remove these terrorists from there, our Indian army was sent in the Golden Temple. One of the Sikh bodyguards in Indira Gandhi's personal security assassinated her. At that time, Indira Gandhi was killed or assassinated by her one of the bodyguard, and during this period an organization called United Liberation Front of Assam, that is ALFA, carried on a major movement in northeast India. Right after Indira Gandhi's assassination in 1984, Rajiv Gandhi, he became the Prime Minister, and he tried to make several reforms in the field of Indian economy. He tried to bring a lot of changes in the Indian economy and that of science and technology. He took the lead in solving the issues of the Tamil minority in Sri Lanka. He promoted the idea of united Sri Lanka with internal autonomy, that is self-autonomy to the Tamil community. He tried that there should be united Sri Lanka. The Tamil community should also have some power in their hand, but his efforts in this regard proved to be in vain. He could not get any success in this. He faced a lot of criticism in this context of corruption that took place during a defense equipment deal, especially in the purchase of long range cannons. So India had deal under his leadership for a defense equipment, especially for the purchase of long range cannons, that are guns, from a foreign company called Bofors. Now, political corruption became a crucial issue in the general elections that followed, and the Congress party was defeated. After this Bofors, this political corruption became an important issue in the elections, and because of this, Congress party was defeated. Several political parties formed a coalition called the Janata Dal and Vishwanath Pratap. So many parties formed a coalition, means when the parties cannot get their seats to form a party or to form the government, so 2 or 3 parties, they come together and they form the government. So in this way the coalition is formed or made within these parties, and the Janata Dal came into the government, and the Vishwanath Pratap Singh, he became the next Prime Minister of India. The policy for providing reservations for other backward classes, that is OBC, is considered to be his most important contribution. He could not continue as Prime Minister due to the internal differences in the party. And Chandrasekhar, in 1990, Chandrasekhar became the Prime Minister of India. There were many clashes between these some ministers, and because of that, this Prime Minister, that is, he could not continue as a Prime Minister. Vishwanath Pratap Singh. After that, Chandrasekhar became the Prime Minister of India. His government was also short-lived, means he was also for a very short period as a Prime Minister. In 1991, during the election campaign, the terrorist organization in Sri Lanka, that is Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam, assassinated Rajiv Gandhi, and Rajiv Gandhi was also killed or assassinated by these terrorists. Towards the end of the decade of 1980s, an unrest in Jammu and Kashmir had begun. The terrorist activities there forced the Kashmiri Pandits to leave the Kashmir Valley. These terrorists did not want the Kashmiri Pandits to live in the Jammu Kashmir. This problem grew serious day by day, and today it has taken the form of terrorism as we are seeing every day. The changes after 1991. The year 1991 is held to be very important in the history of the world as well as India. The Soviet Union, as we have seen in the last chapter of political science, it had disintegrated, it had divided into several different small countries, and the Cold War came to an end. And in India, the government under the leadership of Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao initiated many changes in the Indian economy. Many changes were brought by under the leadership of P.V. Narasimha Rao in the Indian economy. During this period, the Ram Janmabhoomi and Babri Mosque issue at Ayodhya came to the forefront. In the elections conducted between 1996 and 1999, no political party got a clear majority in the Lok Sabha. As I said, they have to get some majority of seats so that the government can be formed. So this resulted in 3 governments in a short span of time. So those led by Prime Ministers Atal Bihari Vajpayee, so 3 political parties had led the government. First one was led by the Prime Ministers Atal Bihari Vajpayee, then H.D. Devegowda and Indra Kumar Gujral were amongst them. Finally, in 1999, the National Democratic Alliance came to power under the flag of Bharatiya Janata Party, and Atal Bihari Vajpayee became the India's Prime Minister. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, he tried to establish a dialogue with Pakistan to keep peace in Jammu and Kashmir, but it was all in vain and it was not successful. India conducted a number of nuclear tests in 1998 and declared herself as an atomic power. In 1991, there was another war between India and Pakistan in the region of Kargil over the Kashmir issue, and India defeated Pakistan in this war also. Now we'll see about the Indian economy. Right from independence, the modernization of economy, economic self-sufficiency and social justice. These 3 were the main characteristics of Indian economy. So as we got our independence, we wanted to achieve modernization of economy, we wanted our economic self-sufficiency, and all the people should get the right or justice, that is social justice. These are the 3 main characteristics of Indian economy. India wanted to acquire modernity and self-reliance by establishing industries. They wanted to make our people self-reliant. They should get their own livelihood by establishing industries, by giving them employment. So we wanted to establish an economy based on social justice through planning. For this, the National Planning Commission was established that would coordinate development through the policy of 5-year plan. So as we read before also, that planning commission is set up for doing the coordination between the development program through this policy of 5-year plan. So every 5 years plan was prepared by this national planning policy, and in that plan, what what sort of what we are going to do for these, for our country, or what changes we are going to bring in our country, that was shown. So this India established the planning commission in 1950 with Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru as its chairman, and he formulated India's 5-year plans that included rural and agriculture development, balanced industrialization, provision for a minimum standard of living, and economic development consistent with democratic ideas, that focused on people's participation and individual development in the formulation and implementation of the 5-year plan. So there were many goals of these plans. Some were increase in the national income, some were to bring the rapid industrialization by focusing on the basic industries, some were using the human resource which is more in our country to give them employment, to remove the inequality in earnings and wealth, then maintain stable prices of commodities. So many goals were there of these National Planning Commission or these plans. The Narasimha Rao government started economic reforms from 1991. These economic reforms are called as economic liberalization. And what is this economic liberalization? Liberalization means freedom. So any country can do trade with any country without any fear or with full freedom. And as we know, we can get, as we are knowing children, that we are getting each and everything from anywhere, any part of the world. So this means that we can sell or we can buy from any country of the world. So this is economic liberalization. The Indian economy flourished as a result of the implementation of this policy. The foreign investment in India increased. The foreign industries came to India and invested here. Skilled Indian professionals helped reform the Indian economy. The field of information technology opened several avenues of employment in the country. The changes after 1991 is also known as, described as globalization. So children, at this time globalization was started. What is globalization? Exchange of information, exchange of labor, exchange of cash, exchange of trade. This all in between the countries without any strictness or without any strict rules. This is called globalization, or exchange of information through all the countries is known as globalization. So the next part we'll study in the next session, children.